a king of peace, yet small in state. The people cheer with palm leaves high. Blessed is he, the joyful cry. They praised his name, they cleared the street, yet knew not nails would pierce his feet. Hosanna then, Hosanna now. The thorns once crowned his lowly brow. He came in peace, but soon he rides on clouds of fire with angels' strides. With palms again, we lift our praise to Christ who reigns through endless days. Hosanna then, Hosanna now. Before his throne our hearts will bow. He comes again, the skies will part. The Lamb will ride with lion's heart. The saints in white with songs so bold will wave their palms like days of old. No humble colt, no borrowed tune, but heaven's King in glory's blue. Hosanna then, Hosanna now. The thorns once crowned his lowly brow. He came in peace, but soon he rides on clouds of fire with angels' strides. With palms again, we lift our praise to Christ who reigns through endless days. Hosanna then, Hosanna now. Before his throne our hearts will bow. From manger straw to heaven's throne, from cursed tree to glory shown. The crowd once cheered, the bride now sings. All praise to Christ, the King of Kings. Flying up now, flying around. The thorns once crowned his lowly brow. He came in peace, but soon he rides on clouds of fire with angels' strides. With palms again, we lift our praise to Christ who reigns through endless days. Hosanna then, Hosanna now. Forever crowned, behold him now.
He walked the courts, his eyes ablaze, where holy walls betrayed his praise. The outer court, the sacred place, was filled with grief and lost its grace. The place for those from far and wide had turned to trade in sinful pride. This house was made for every land, for weary hearts to understand that mercy calls both near and far. No wall remains, no gate or bar. He drove the noise, he cleared the floor, so all the world could find the door. A house of prayer for every name. Let nations rise and bless its flame. The coins were clinked where prayer should be. price was placed on purity, but Christ with coarse and holy fire restored the chord to God's desire. No longer blocked, no longer sold. The call went out to young and old. This house was made for every land, for weary hearts to understand that mercy calls both near and far. No wall remains, no gate or bar. He drove the noise, he cleared the floor, so all the world could find the door. A house of prayer for every name. Let nations rise and bless his flame. Oh Israel, you hold the light, but not to hide it from the night. The blessing flows, the promise true. All nations find their peace in you.
I saw the road you chose to tread, the weight you bore, the tears you shed. And in my hands, what could I bring but broken alabaster dreams? They called it waste, they looked away, but I had seen the price you'd pay. I poured my heart at your feet, every drop, every beat, sweet perfume for the King, for the Lamb who takes my sin. Let the fragrance rise above, song of sorrow, faith and love. I anoint you for what must be. My Savior, come to die for me. The room fell still, the silence burned. Your eyes met mine, how mercy turned. You knew my love, you knew my cry. You knew the tomb, you knew goodbye. No crown of gold, no throne I gave, just all in tears before the grave. I poured my heart at your feet, every drop, every beat, sweet perfume for the King, for the Lamb who takes my sin. Let the fragrance rise above, a song of sorrow, faith and love. I anoint you for what must be. My Savior, come to die for me. You won't forget this humble sign. generous gift for love divine. You held my shame, you broke my pride, and let me worship you before you died.
Gathered close at evening's light, 12 disciples on that night, breaking bread with loving care, sacred moments they would share. At the table of the Lord, where His grace would be outpoured, taking cup and breaking bread. This is me, is what He said. The upper room they sat, as He washed their feet and spat at the pride that blinds us all, teaching love before His call. At the table of the Lord, where His grace would be outpoured, taking cup and breaking bread. This is me, is what He said. His fate, 30 silver could not wait, yet His love remains so true, making covenant anew. At the table of the Lord, where His grace would be outpoured, taking cup and breaking bread, till I come, is what He said. Beneath the olive trees, the night was still, but not at peace. The stars looked on, the silence deep, as heaven heard the Savior weep. A trembling voice, a whispered plea, let this cup pass away from me. In Gethsemane He knelt for me, poured out His soul in agony. With bloody sweat and broken cry, He faced the wrath He chose to die. Yet through the tears he found his way. Not my will but yours, he'd say. A love that bled on bended knee, my ransom won in Gethsemane. The ones he loved had fallen deep, their eyes too tired, their flesh too weak. But still he stayed, though all alone, and bore the weight of sin unknown. The cup of wrath, the weight of doom, he drank it there in olive gloom. In Gethsemane he knelt for me, poured out his soul in agony. With bloody sweat and broken cry, he faced the wrath, he chose to die. Yet through the tears he found his way. Not my will but yours, he'd say. Your love that bled on bended knee, my ransom won in Gethsemane. Could I not watch 1 hour with you, when love was tested, pure and true? You bore my name, you took my shame, you called me child, you took my name. Finally in Gethsemane you fought for me, where grace was poured on sorrow's tree. You said yes to Calvary's hill, obeyed the Father's holy will. Now every prayer and every plea finds mercy there. Gethsemane, oh sacred ground where love broke free, I kneel again in Gethsemane.
In the dark of Gethsemane's night, torches approach, a terrible sight. With a kiss, the friend becomes foe, the signal that all should know. Soldiers advance with sword and speed, while faithful friends tremble near. In the garden where olives weep, where promises fade like sleep, a kiss becomes betrayal's mark, as light surrenders to the dark. The Master stands in perfect peace, while chaos and terror release. No resistance does he show, the path he chose long ago. Then Peter draws his gleaming blade, his fear and anger fill the glade. Servant's ear falls to the ground, but mercy heals without a sound. And no more of this, the Master says, as love divine his heart displays. In the garden where all is weak, where fade like sleep, a kiss becomes betrayal. to meet what time cannot erase. The cup he drinks, the price he pays, the love that through the ages stays. In chains he goes, yet he is free, the one who dies to set all free. Before the priests in dead of night, bound and guarded, a solemn sight. False tongues weave their twisted claims, as truth itself they try to maim. In chambers where the powerful dwell, their judgment seat becomes his cell. Before the council's piercing eyes, where falsehood spreads its web of lies, the Savior stands in silent grace, his truth shining in this place. Though accusations fill the air, his presence brings a holy dare. For soon they all will surely know the Christ whom prophets showed long ago. Are you the Christ the high priest demands, as destiny unfolds as planned? I am, he speaks with quiet power, divine authority in that hour. Their garments tear in mock dismay, as darkness fights the light of day. Before the council's piercing eyes, where falsehood spreads its web of lies, the Savior stands in silent grace, his truth shining in this place. Though accusations fill the air, his presence brings a holy dare. For soon they all will surely know the Christ whom prophets showed long ago. They strike him with their angry hands, yet still in royal strength he stands. No earthly court can comprehend the King whose reign shall never end. Through Jerusalem's winding way, a cross upon his shoulders lay. Each step brings pain, yet on he goes, love compelling through all his woes. strength seems spent upon the road, Simon helps bear the crushing load. Down the path of suffering deep, where faithful women pause and weep, the Master turns with words of grace. Daughters, for your children weep, but trust in God's eternal key. Beneath the weight of wood and sin, his journey must at last begin. Though beaten, mocked, and crowned with thorns, his love for all still brightly burns. Each stumbling step, each painful breath leads closer to appointed death. Down the path of suffering deep, where faithful women pause and weep, the Master turns with words of grace. Daughters, for your children weep. For days of trial you must face, but trust in God's eternal key. The sacred path he chose to tread, by ancient prophecy was led. No force of earth could turn aside the love that drew him toward that ride. The final steps draw ever near, where mercy's price will soon appear. In suffering's depths, redemption flows, the greatest love creation knows. Upon the hill of Calvary, between two thieves they raised the tree. The soldiers cast lots for his clothes, while mockers heard their bitter oaths. Father, forgive, he gently prayed, for those whose hands his death had made. From cross to cross, three figures hung, one criminal with venom tongue, while one found grace in final hour. Today in paradise you'll be. Christ showed his kingdom saving power through suffering's victory. Behold your son, he told his mother, entrusting her care to another. Then darkness fell at midday's high, as heaven veiled the grievous sight. My God, the anguished cry, why have you now forsaken me? From cross to cross, three figures hung, one criminal with venom tongue, while one found grace in final triumphantly. The temple veil was torn in two as ancient barriers were withdrawn. Father, into your hands I give my spirit, his last words to live. The earth shook as he bowed his head. Love's greatest work at last was shed.
The stone was rolled, the morning bright. The guards had fled in fearful flight. An angel sat where death had been, proclaiming life would now begin. The women came with spices sweet, but found an empty winding sheet. He lives, we shout with joy. No grave could hold or death destroy. The victor rose with mighty power, triumphant in that morning hour. We dance and sing, our voices raise to Christ alive through endless days. Oh, he lives, we shout with joy. Our risen King, our hearts implore. From death to life, he made the way. Now hope springs forth this glorious day. The news spread fast, disciples ran. Salvation's work was fully done. Where grief once dwelt, now gladness reigns. For Jesus broke death's mighty chains. He lives, we shout with joy. No grave could hold or death destroy. The victor rose with mighty power, triumphant in that morning hour. We dance and sing, our voices raise to Christ alive through endless days. He lives, we shout with joy. Our risen King, our hearts employ. From death to life, from grief to praise, our Savior lives through endless days. The tomb is bare, our joy complete, as heaven and earth in worship meet. Final, he lives, we shout with joy. No grave could hold or death destroy. The victor rose with mighty power, triumphant in that morning hour. We dance and sing, our voices raise to Christ alive through endless days. He lives, we shout with joy, forever crowned. Our hearts employ.